Can you all believe it? The Warriors training camp is about to start in just about a month on September 28th. Then, just a few weeks after that, comes the Warriors' revenge season. The 2022 Warriors are going to be exponentially better than the 2021 Warriors, but there are still some issues that need to be ironed out. Who will take Klay's spot in the starting rotation until he returns? Who will take the last roster spot? Should Wiseman start again? There are tons of questions for Steve Kerr and the Warriors, so let's tackle some of these today. Let's start off with the question, who's going to take Klay's spot in the starting rotation until he returns on Christmas Day? Well, Steve Kerr recently said this, "My gut reaction is Jordan Poole. I think he's got a great chance to start. Obviously, when you make a decision on your starting lineup, you have to look at how it impacts your bench. If I feel like Jordan makes the most sense as our backup point to Steph, there's a good chance I bring him off the bench. It makes sense. Jordan Poole is worthy of the starting rotation."
Poole again gets...
He's worked hard all offseason and has put on about 10 pounds of muscle, which will help him on both ends of the court. The thing is, Jordan Poole's capable of getting buckets, but there is a small issue. If JP's starting, the bench would be depleted of a really good ball handler who can get points and make plays for others.
Poole off the Iverson cut. Nice two-man game with Looney. Nice.
As a result, I'd say it's best to have him as the sixth man coming off the bench. So with JP out of the picture, we'll have to see the training camp battles between these two next players. I'm looking at either Moses Moody or JTA to take Klay's spot until he returns. I mean, Moody on the one hand has shown in the Summer League that he can knock it down from the field and from three-point range. Throughout his 4 games, he shot 44% from the field and 37% from deep. He's also built a bit of good chemistry with the chef over dinner, and Curry's already said that he's teaching the young rookie how to play golf. JTA, on the other hand, was part of last season's best 4-man rotation. He can cut hard, he can do pick and rolls with Steph Curry, and he can shoot the 3-ball at 40%. On top of all this, he's a positive energy guy who plays with intensity and a solid basketball IQ.
It's Coach Kerr. The lob. Oh, JTA sends it home. Only needed one hand.
The next question is, who will take the last roster spot? The current options are Michael Mulder, Gary Payton II, Ja'Cory McLaughlin, Chris Chiozza, or perhaps another free agent like Paul Millsap or Rajon Rondo, if he gets a buyout. To answer this question, we'll have to go back to the previous issue of ball handling. Because without Steph Curry or Jordan Poole, there really isn't a high-quality ball handler. Last year, we lacked big physical people, but after acquiring Otto Porter, Nemanja, Kuminga, and also with the return of a stronger James Wiseman, I'm going to say we're okay without adding another big, so I'll have to say no to Paul Millsap in this case. That leaves the guards left, and just from what I've seen, in a strong gut instinct, I'm going to go with Gary Payton II.
We talked about that. Chris Chiozza signed a 2-way deal.
It's a real small sample size against Summer League players, but in 3 games, Gary Payton II averaged about 11 points per game, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds on a whopping 74% shooting from the field and 83% from three-point range. On top of that, he's an elite defender who won the Defensive Player of the Year during his last season's G League run. On top of this, he understands his role he'll have with the Warriors. Recently, Payton II went on air to say, "I feel confident. The way they play and the way I play, it's a perfect fit. 30's going to have the ball, so all I have to do is cut, make the right plays, hit open shots like I've been doing here, and just continue to play defense." He can distribute the ball, cut back door, knock down open threes, and on top of all this, the Warriors need someone who can go bother elite scorers for a 5-minute stint, and I'm pretty sure GP2 can do this better than anyone currently on the Warriors roster. I mean, against Kyrie Irving, CP3, Ice Trae, and Damian Lillard, GP2 has both the athleticism and the defensive IQ to really bother these people and throw them off their rhythm a little in each half.
Into the passing lanes, Gary Payton.
To fill in that last roster spot, I'd add GP2, aka the Mitten. Now, the next question is, should James Wiseman start again? And if not, who should? Well, let's hear Coach Kerr's take first. He's right on schedule for everything, and as of now, the medical team tells me he'll be ready for camp. I'm just so inspired by what DeAndre Ayton has been able to do in the playoffs, and I think there's no reason why James can't follow that same path. Over the long haul, we're going to develop James, and we feel like he's going to be our starting center at some point for a long, long time. So to answer the question, if James Wiseman should start, it'll all depend on how he performs during training camp. But the Warriors' ultimate plan is to develop Wiseman until he's capable of starting. When he went out last year, Kevon Looney took his spot. But this year, we added two other big bodies who can attack both in the post and from outside, Otto Porter Jr. and Nemanja Bjelica. Because of their ability to knock down threes at a 40% clip, I'd say if either Otto Porter or Nemanja was at 100% health, then they'd be a good fit to start if Wiseman wasn't ready yet. So just as an example, until Klay Thompson returns, the starting 5 unit can be Steph Curry, JTA, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Nemanja Bjelica. That lineup would have 4 players capable of shooting over 40%, 2 playmakers, 1 perimeter lockdown defender, and a 6'10" previous EuroLeague MVP who can also play in the post.
Bjelica, and a back down Iguodala, count it and 1.
The next all-important question is then, who will come off the bench? Jordan Poole's going to be a no-brainer. I see him as a finalist for either the 6th Man of the Year or the Most Improved Player award. From the rest of the available roster, we'd have Looney, Wiseman, Moody, Kuminga, Otto Porter, Iguodala, Steph's brother-in-law Lee, and perhaps Gary Payton. Well, assuming Otto Porter is healthy, he'd be in. Then the rest of the players are going to be on a rotational basis. One youthful and developmental lineup can be Poole, Moody, Otto Porter, Kuminga, and Wiseman. Another can be Poole, GP2, Iguodala, Damian Lee, and Looney. There's still a lot of experimentation that Steve Kerr and the rest of the coaching staff are going to have to go through before they determine the best playoff rotation. But that is what the 82-game season is for. Anyway, on to the next big important question. How are the Warriors going to balance development and winning during the regular season? It's all good to develop the young players, but if it costs the Warriors another year where they get the 7th or 8th seed but lose in the play-in tournament, it is going to be a disaster for the whole organization. Well, the answer to this question, it's pretty simple. First off, there are 5 preseason games before the actual season starts, 2 against the Trailblazers, 2 against the Lakers, and 1 against the Nuggets. All the rookies and the younger players can play much more significant minutes in these games and test themselves out against real NBA competition. This will also give the Warriors a clear idea of who's NBA ready. Second off, although on-court minutes are huge in the development of rookies, it's not everything. Instilling the attributes, habits, and routines of a winning player and developing their talent is just as important. While working with the coaching staff, the young fellas need to develop 1 or 2 skill sets that can make a big impact for the team, and then slowly, the Warriors can integrate them into the rotation. Lastly, to start off the season, the Warriors should be trying to win as many games as possible. I've looked at the upcoming schedule that starts the season off, and out of the first 10 games, the Warriors should honestly be able to win all of them. Getting a huge head start in the win column and clinching an early playoff spot would be massive for the Warriors, as it'll give them the luxury of experimenting more with the younger players and giving them more in-game experience. Then, when the playoffs arrive, the Warriors organization as a whole will have a much better idea of what the ultimate death lineup rotations will be. One thing is for sure though, once Jonathan Kuminga develops just a bit this season and becomes impactful for the team, he is going to unleash Stephen Curry and the rest of that Warriors roster. What do I mean? Well, you can check it out here. I analyzed how he's going to be pretty much a weapon of mass destruction for the Warriors, and how the Warriors are going to be that much more dangerous when he's on the floor. Anyway, click the video guys, watch it, and like always, I'll see you on the other side.